Welcome to Colorflow Conversations, where we flow freely, speak boldly, and connect colorfully. I am Uakeisha, and this is,
Tikisha.
and we are glad to be here today.
Yeah, girl.
You glad?
I- I'm always so ecstatic to be here.
Oh, you!
Sarcasm.
Oh my God, that sarcasm sounded just like the Mean Girls movie. The way you was just talking, that's so funny to me. That's so funny. Have you ever? Well, first let me say thank you because I was about to get right into our girl talk.
Yes, welcome to our girl
Thank
talk.
you. Thank you for joining us. If this is your first time joining us for Colorful Conversations, we're just two friends who've been friends for over 30 years, and we invite you into our girl talk. And that could be any conversation under the sun. So today I was about to ask you, have you ever thought that you were the mean girl to someone else?
No.
You always thought that you were the nice girl,
Yes.
even though people probably considered you mean?
I think people consider me mean because of my demeanor,
Yeah.
because I have a resting
Yeah.
face, but I don't think that I've ever considered myself a mean girl. I've been provoked. One thing about me, and I have to say this, you know how I'd be like, resist the devil and he will flee. I'd be like, vengeance is the Lord, because, I'm made in God's image, and how he be getting mad and set wars and stuff. I'd be ready to set wars and stuff. But it takes me to get triggered to get in that spot. I've never been like the mean girl, because when I think of a mean girl, I think of the girls that's really like, oh, you can't sit with us, or of a status, we're better than someone else because of the material things that we own, or just their demeanor, because I might be bougie, but I'm not a mean girl when it comes to my bouginess, if that makes sense.
It makes sense to me, but I think that it could be misunderstood from people who probably don't know you or whoever it's like that in that way, that she or you may be a mean girl. And like, I think it comes from the inside of someone else thinking that, and I think we talked about this before, you have, stuff that they probably want, and they probably think, oh, she is like this because of that. So I was just wondering, like, have you ever thought that you were ever once the mean girl? Because I never thought you were.
I never thought that I was. And now what I recognize about myself is, when I am triggered and I want to go in that place where it's just like a tit for tat, because if you mess with me, I can destroy you, like, for real. But I try to remove myself from those situations, because it's just like, I don't really want to be that person, because I know I have an evil spirit in me. I know it. I wrestle with it all the time. I even wrestle with the evil spirit, not even when someone else hurts me, but when I hurt my own self. You know what I'm saying? That's where it comes, where, people who know me know where I come and be like, I am my worst enemy, because I'm wrestling with that evil spirit. But I don't think that I've ever been a mean girl. I just think that my demeanor comes off like, oh,
mean girl.
You mean girl.
Do you believe that all of us have a little evil spirit in us?
Yes. I personally, and I'm going to tread lightly with this, I do not believe that necessarily that the devil is always an outside source. I think that that's sometimes our ego and is within us, and we're just possibly trying to suppress it, or it's just some unhealed trauma. But I don't always think that the meanness is outside.
Now, when you say it could be the ego, you don't think that the devil have anything to do with our ego, though?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that that's in us. Where people be like, oh, that's the devil. I don't look at it as it's outside of me. I'd be like, yeah, that's me.
What's already in you?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I know I have a evil side. I pray daily to be intentional about how I conduct myself, because you got to put on a whole armor daily. So I try to be prepared to not cuss nobody out And I didn't used to have that cuss people out spirit because I used to be the people pleaser. But as I got older, and it might have changed when I had kids because I became a mama bear, and it became easier for me to cuss people out. Before, I was very hold back and wouldn't, say too much if somebody did something to piss me off. I would just be like, okay, But now I feel it more where I am easier led to attack or let that evil side come out. But now, that was before. I'm saying before I like fully surrender to God. But I still even feel it now, at times where I be like, ooh, girl, you gotta, suppress that, if that's the word, where you be wanting to, lash out. But most time when I feel it, my spirit is more so uncomfortable. It's somebody I be around pretty often, at least once a week, that we're not friends or anything. We're associates. And that person makes my spirit uncomfortable. And I just be like, and I wonder if they could tell, because when somebody else come around us, I'm like, oh, hey. And then when they're talking to me, I'm like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I have to suppress that because I'll be wanting to, like, I feel like that person is racist. I feel like they are very what's the word? Oh God, it's on the tip of my tongue. Whatever the word is, I feel like that's what they are, and it's a very fake, yeah. And I'm like, my spirit is uneasy, and I know that evil side of me wants to come out and be like, but I can't be that way. So it becomes easier I don't know if it comes with easier or I'm just used to it now, where I'm like, okay, my evil side want to come out, but this is what you have to do the opposite of what you would have done.
See, I've always been a little bit more verbal when I was triggered. I think within the last 5 years, that I have really noticed that I've transitioned softer and softer as each year passed, because I really, outside of my family, because I don't know what it is about them mofos, but I have a really soft spot for them. But outside of them, like, I would go straight in attack mode. Outside of the sibling, because siblings dynamics is a little different, but the rest of the family.
Sibling dynamic is different, because no matter if we argue or feel evil or with our sibling or whatever, we gonna still be family.
I can cuss Tiffany out right now, and I dare somebody to say something about her. I'm coming with a vengeance. Okay,
like you.
And 5 minutes after I cuss her out, really with me, once I get out what I gotta say, I'm over it. I done moved on and I done let it go. I'm not really in a place of holding grudges either. And that's something I used to do real bad, like bad would hold a grudge. But I've definitely grown from that. Whereas now I just remove myself from those situations. But I do have situations where, similar to what you're saying, that I feel it and I'm uncomfortable, but because of the environment, it's something that I cannot remove myself in. It just comes with it. And sometimes that happens because we're professional people, we're adults, we have children. Sometimes we're just in those environments where we just got to make it do what it do. And when I'm in that, I really have learned, and I think this has helped me overall, is I really have learned not to really concentrate on what the person is doing that triggers me. I think I've said this before a lot. Like, I think about the mirror, like, why is this bothering me? What is it that you're doing that's bothering me? Like, what is it about your actions? And, I've dealt with that, and I'm pretty sure all of us have, as Black women, dealt with racism. And it's not it's never easy to deal with, because how do you push under the rug when you know someone is being racist to you? You know, so it's not easy. But I've definitely been in situations whereas that I have learned, and I call it playing the game, as someone taught me, to just be a little bit nicer. And now it comes easier for me, where before I felt like, because I have an issue with being fake. I don't ever want to be fake. And I think we sometimes misconstrue what being fake is, because just because I'm not, you know, I seen a TikTok today that was just like, I am the auntie, but on the inside, I'm a YN. I'm a young. And I'm like, that's me, because I'm about to turn up and all of that. But everywhere you don't need that turn up vibe. So it's not necessarily being fake. It's just about being where you know, being how you're supposed to be in that particular environment.
Right.
So I've learned that everything, I don't have to be combative or attack. And those are when I pray the most, because I'm just like, God, like, soften this situation for me, because you see it. And what do I need to learn? So I always take it away on what I need to learn. I'd be begging God to soften it, because it'd be like, can I handle this on your behalf, sir? Please, please.
I was reading this morning in Luke, and I'm sure it's in other scriptures too, and he was talking about, you know, judgment. How can you judge somebody speck in their eye when you have a log in your eye?
Yes.
And I really sat on that, like, okay, you know, even when I have that evil spirit and I be looking at people like, you this and you that, I'm like, I have to go back and look in the mirror, like, okay, Keisha, you probably got a little log in your eye too, so let me, you know, ease back. But yeah, I was just, you know, thinking about that, because that's one of the things that I kind of struggle with now, is my uneasy spirit around people, and I be wondering if they think I'm a mean girl because I don't really be saying nothing to them, when really.
Okay, we're gonna have to pause.
Continue now.
And we're back.
Look, does that change your spirit when you have to interrupt?
Yes, very much so.
Really? It don't change mine.
Keisha, because you're a lot more easygoing than I am. I like structure and order and discipline. Okay? So when that gets out of whack, it shifts my spirit. Hey, think about me in a sunken space. Like, that always triggers when I'm not disciplined, when I'm not in my routine. Like, I fall deeper and deeper. I don't know what it is. I need routine. I need discipline. I need to be heard. I need to be respected. I feel like that was like a disrespect, even if it wasn't intentional.
Well, I think that I think this, because I think I used to be, and I thought about this other day, because I had taken my sister out to dinner for her birthday, and I had told her to be there at a specific time. And this is not a slight on you, time. I'm just showing something. But I had told her to be there at a specific time, and when I looked at her location, she hadn't even left her house at the time where I told her to be there. And I was like, before I would have been like, where you at? Come on, come on, come on. Where you at? You know, but I sat there because I was just like, sometimes I believe God worked things out the way it's supposed to, because I was trying to surprise her and the surprises hadn't even arrived. So I was like, let me just sit, because I know before I would have been, oh, you late, you late. I told you to be here. They making us wait. They won't seat us. But I just sat there, and I be feeling like God do things for a reason, and the surprise end up working out the way it should have. So even with our interruption, I feel like it was probably meant for a bigger purpose than what, even though we want the structure and the discipline and everything, I believe, and we may not know what it is now, but I believe it's for a bigger purpose than, you know, what we what we, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I just have to believe that, the way we be praying about stuff, like calling out names, and you've been doing these very beautiful public prayers, I told you, like on all social media platforms. And I'm just like, girl, like he is going to answer it, but he's not going to answer it in a way that we want it to happen.
Well,
So
you told me to write, so I've been writing.
yeah. And so, don't let things, even when your structure gets interrupted, when our structure get interrupted, when things happen out of order, because you definitely like order. I mean, even the way things are placed in your house, in your room, even, I know if one thing is moved, you're going to be able to tell. If I went and moved a book, you'd be like, you move that book. You know what I'm saying? You know, so when things get out of order and things get, it wasn't like a big deal. It wasn't. It was more like, let me interrupt y'all because what y'all talking about is good, but maybe y'all need to change that and think about, I'm about to answer these prayers. And well, yeah, I'm just saying, our life
Okay.
has been so, I mean, think about how many disruptions we've had in our life.
Yeah, and I'd be okay with that. But I'm on the schedule.
I'm on a schedule. Listen,
I don't know. I just be
no,
funny acting about certain things, and I know this about myself. But it's cool. We going with the flow and flow
yeah, we
freely.
flow. That's and that's part of the flow
So
freely.
flow
And
freely.
look, we didn't even think about that. We flow freely in our conversations, but do we flow freely when something is interrupted? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because I sat here like,
Yeah, because she ain't the editor.
I'm just saying. But back to what we were saying, I did not forget what we were talking about as far as the mean girl. I'm glad that I am learning. I don't know why I have tears coming out my eyes. Do you see them?
Yes, I do.
And I never cry. I'm not a crier. I don't think I'm crying, but
I don't think you're crying either. I wonder if it's like the incense or something.
I don't know. But I just I don't want to be, I want to get more comfortable even when the people who make my spirit uneasy. I don't want to feel that uneasiness. I just want to know that I have that uneasiness. And
So let me ask you this: what tools do you use when you're in that situation?
girl, I literally I did express to someone that can control the situation that I didn't like being around that person. And they actually did make some adjustments so I wouldn't have to really be around them that much. And but it's not like you can completely stop it. So when I know I'm going to encounter them, I literally be talking to God like, keep my spirit at peace. And it's not that they do anything to me. They don't. They're very condescending. They're very, I can't think of the other word I'm trying to say, but it's very, and you say you don't like to be fake. They're very fake with me. They're very, and not only with me, with other people, Black people, that I can see it. And I'm like, now, you really pushing my butt.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Um, Nice, nasty, and we could be nice nasty with each other, but when people not in our race, it's nice nasty to me. It really pushes me to be like, how you want me to react with them, and I still got to show them niceness and love. That's work. I feel like I be tested weekly. Like it's not even the people that's really hurt my feelings that I or done something to me that bothers me now, because I done dealt with that, but it's the little these other tests that I get that I'm like, okay, but I still show kindness. I still show kindness. I don't be fake laughing, ha ha ha, he. No, I don't do that. But I'm still I still show kindness, and I don't talk smart to them or anything, but they're probably aware that I'm not fond of them. They're probably aware. But yeah, I've never considered myself to be a mean girl because I was always a people pleaser. I always wanted to please my friends and family, and you know, the only person who probably considered me to have been a mean girl to them was probably my sibling, because I was never a people pleaser really to her, you know. But everybody else, yeah, I have always, so I was never that mean girl. But now, when you be authentic with yourself, you probably can come off as mean to people.
Yeah, you can.
You know what I'm saying? In our book we
Mm-hmm.
read now, Simple Abundance, you read those things about being authentic.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, when you just really like for yourself and within yourself, you can come off as mean to some folks. So what I notice about myself now is, in my authenticness, what because I can feel their spirit and how they are, whoever it is, I can feel their spirit. How I feel on the inside really kind of be like coming out, even if it's a black woman that I feel is, her spirit makes me a little uneasy. I'll be kind and nice, but I don't, you won't find me probably overly laughing and joking with her like I would with somebody else, because I can feel that energy, how, probably even what they may be going through, not the particular thing, but just I can feel something that's not right with this
Right,
spirit.
right.
So yeah, but I never came off as a mean girl growing up. But I know your resting face, people probably are, but I
Oh yeah, I'm
never.
pretty sure people have said that to me behind my back, because I've gotten like, what, like, oh, you so nice, like you nicer than what I thought you were, those type of things, where it's just like you pass judgment based on how I look
Look, yeah, yeah,
or
and
possibly
yeah,
carry myself, because I feel like I've always, you know, to me, my face is just my face. It's not like I don't intentional. It's not even like I'm feeling like I'm frowning, like I'm my daddy's daughter. It's
yeah,
just
yeah,
who I am. But I've always felt strong in who I was as a person
yeah,
too. So
yeah,
I think sometimes that type of aura can be misinterpreted as a mean girl, where
yeah.
it's not like I'm mean or think that I'm better. It's just I'm secure in who I am.
I would say this. I think that the people who've known me for years or whatever really don't know me now, especially if you dated me. You don't know me. They'll probably say, "Oh, I know her. She like this." Like, you really don't know me now, and not saying it in a like a braggadocious way, just in a way of, now that I've come into who I know I am. You know who you are in some shape, form, or fashion for a longer time, but I don't think a lot of people know me now. You know me before and now. You've welcomed the changes or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But I think that when you say talk about you never want to come off as fake, I think the people who think they knew me before but don't know me now would probably consider me probably to be fake.
And when I think about that too, saying that, because that's true. Like people think that in general, like, oh, she fake or that's, but we evolve. And
Yeah.
if you're not evolving as you get older,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
what's wrong?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I think it's okay with evolving, especially if it's working for you into being a better person.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? So, because I still feel like every day I'm evolving more and more, and I'm intentionally trying, to be better for me and not even
Mhm.
for anybody else, not as a daughter, a sister, a mother, friend, like simply for Tikisha.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, same. I'm literally, when the evolution started taking place in my life, it was like, man, so just a relief to feel the weight that you didn't know you had on you to be lifted. It's like, man, so a lot of things when I go back to like me taking my sister out and she was late and I just sat there like when she came in, we didn't argue. It was just like, girl, and she didn't know I had a surprise for her. I'd just realized certain things you don't have to argue about or certain things not a big deal. It was like that was an evolution of Keisha of not being like, you're late. Why are you late? I told you to be here, you know.
I get that because I'm like that in certain situations too. Now today is different. Yeah. But I agree with you on that. Or even like, and I think we've talked about this before because I don't have road rage anymore.
Really?
Yeah, I used to have road rage real bad that I ain't gonna even go on the camera how bad it was, but real bad. And or just even driving fast. Like I've always liked a fast car, so I'm like a swerve in and out, like I'm gunning it. I ain't doing none of that. I am simply driving Miss Daisy, like Jesus is in the back seat, and we gonna get there when we gonna get there. Like I'm in no rush for that. And even before, I felt like, was I in a rush or why am I driving like this?
Yeah.
So it's certain things like that I ain't even doing.
Yeah, it just be like, why was I doing that in the first place?
Yes, in the first place.
Yeah, like why was I? What? Yeah, I get that because I notice small changes about myself when the people fly around me, and I'd be like, and I'll say out loud, "You in such a rush."
Yeah.
Yes. You're in such a rush, like, and then you fly up there and they still ain't go nowhere. Like, you know, so I'll be conscious and aware of certain things of how, you know, it be those small things too, those small changes that you make in your life that make things, you know, better for you. It may have been keeping you protected from something.
Yes, I'm a firm believer of that as well.
You know, the other day, me and my daughter was driving and we driving down the street and an accident happened literally right in front of us. And she wasn't even looking because she was looking at her phone. And I tapped her. I said, "You see this accident?" And it wasn't a bad accident, but the way it happened, I was like, "Man, that really could have been me." I literally know that if I was that car right in front, it could have been me. So I believe we divinely protected if you do right. If you make small, subtle changes in your life. So, you know, but yeah, I think that people probably would think that I'm fake because they probably be looking like, you ain't mad, you know, where's she at? Blah, blah, blah. What, you know? And I just was like,
I just be like, I'm me. Like, I don't know who you gonna get today. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, like I know that spirit is in me. So sometimes it might come out. It came out a little earlier. It just didn't go all the way there. You know what I'm saying? So that's just like the perfect example. I feel like people who have known us the longest, they get this image of who we are. And then when we evolve and change, they want to judge and put labels and names on it when it just can be like, okay, maybe at this point in our lives we're just not aligned anymore because I'm going this way and you going that way. That's why I have never felt any kind of way about the people who are no longer in my life, because outside of the boys, I don't really have people in my life where it's just like, oh, I don't talk to her no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I literally may not speak with that person, but I'm not sitting around like, oh, I don't talk to her. I don't F with her like that or whatever. It's just once upon a time we might have been like this and now we like this, but it's still a togetherness. Like, I ain't mad. You know what I'm saying? I just know that I really believe in the seasons. You know what I'm saying? Because I've had some people in my life that has come and I literally believe that they have been like God-given angels for me, and then they vanish and I have never seen them again.
It was funny you saying that because I had a friend, he was probably, me and him was talking about 2 weeks ago, and we was talking about Bible, spiritual stuff we always talk about, and some type of way we got friends, and he said to me, yeah, you need to, you and so-and-so need to get back together too. And I just got quiet. And he was like, why you get quiet? I was like, I said, you think he said, no, he said something like, y'all just being stubborn. And I was like, that's not it. And he was like, what? I said, I'm not mad at that person. I said, I'm literally not mad at nobody. I'm like, I'm not mad at them. And he was like, so why won't you? I said, it's okay to not be together as friends like you were anymore. I said, understand we had our time.
Yes, that
You
we
know what I'm
had our
saying?
time.
And I said, even when I saw them, I was like, hey, how you doing? And it was it. That was it. I was like, I said, I'm not mad. I said, you want us to be how we were because you thought we were like the best of whatever. And we were at that time. In that season.
Yes.
I said, but I'm not mad at anybody. And if they're mad at me, then that's on them. I said, I'm not mad at anybody. I said, I'm okay with who's in my life and who's not in my life. Mm-hmm. I said, and if I see them, I will speak and hug. But we don't have to be. And he was just like, well, you know, I was like, I think you're speaking of a place of maybe having a conversation with them and they're mad. I'm not. I'm okay. And he was just like, oh, okay. You know, I said, because it's okay for a friendship to be, or a friendship, relationship, whatever, to be for a season. I think we need to have those experiences for us to, you know, even evolve.
Yes.
You know?
Because I will say the ones that were probably very hurtful for me turned out to be the best thing that happened to me. Mm-hmm. Those were when my major transformations happened in my life, for real. But it doesn't mean that, you know, I'm mad. I might have been hurt. You know what I'm saying? We go through these things where we're hurt. But to hang on to that hurt, like, turn my nose up, or I ain't got time for that.
I don't turn up my nose. Yeah, I'm like,
I feel like sometimes people really be thinking about them, and they don't.
They don't.
Like, they do not be knowing. I listen to Real Talk Kim actually every day this week. I can't remember if she said it today or not, or if it was somebody else. That's funny. But anyway, it was just like you spending time like looking at other people's social media and seeing what they doing and stalking them. And it's just like that person possibly is not even thinking about you
at all.
They're literally forgetting that you existed until maybe somebody else bring them up, you run into them, or they come in your story.
That's
because
exactly
I say all the time, I'm the only person in my story. I am sitting here like right in my calm. Okay, that's what I'm doing every day. That's the only other person in my story that I'm writing in.
Yeah. I mean,
other than that, I'm inviting. I know, like, okay, so Thursdays, me and Keisha, we are each other supporting characters. Yes. You know what I'm saying?
My car literally, automatically on Thursdays put your address in.
Yeah. It's not like I'm sitting at home thinking about some incidents or what happened or this and that. Like, we too old for that. Yeah. And we're too strong in Christ for that too.
And I think that's what I had to get across to that person is like, you know, the person I am now, like I was saying before, people who knew me before don't know me now. I said, so even I don't even want people, how do I say this? Let me tread lightly with this. Because I was about to say, I don't want people in my life who don't not fully surrender, but I can't say that because everybody is not. But
I totally understand what you're saying.
But I want people who
a connection aligned with. It's not like oh, you not surrendered and this
so I can't talk to you. No,
I can't talk to you because it's just like we all for hanging around the sinners and everybody because we know that we're no better. We just may be working our relationship with God differently.
But alignment is the word for sure. Because I feel like every conversation almost that I have now is some way of alignment with where I am in my life.
Exactly.
So if we can't have a conversation that aligns with the path that I'm on now, you know, whether it be something about God or just life. Period. You know, then you probably not really meant to be in my life. My clients that I meet, new and old, I'm aligned with them. And the people who are not supposed to be mine, I don't mind not having them.
I truly believe in that. I don't chase, I attract. I
Yeah.
truly believe in attraction, that the people that I'm attracting in my life are supposed to be there, even if I'm learning something from them. But it's most definitely in alignment, because, and I talk about this all the time, like, you can't sit and talk about you seeing the birds with everybody.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's a major part of my life, these animals.
Yeah.
Okay? I talk about animals every day. So if that's something that's going to annoy you and bother you, then we just might not be.
I dreamed about bears last night.
Oh my God, and my friend dreamed about a whale. Now you already know I'm going to be looking that up tonight.
I dreamed about black bears specifically. But yeah, you can't have the conversations that we have. No, you can't have with everybody, because they'll be like, you're weird.
Crazy.
You're weird.
Yeah,
you're
we're weird.
You're weird.
Because we're intentionally trying to interpret something to see, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm just like, I know God speaks in different ways. So I am always walking in spirit trying to listen. I do not have time to be sitting around talking about what somebody had on.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah.
I still may have little frivolous conversations, don't get me wrong, but I'm going to say 99% of the time, I'm really trying to interpret something, to figure out something, to see if I get an understanding of what's going on. It's not just, I don't talk just to be talking no more.
Yeah.
Because I'm reading. I'm watching something. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to evolve. I'm trying to grow.
Yeah.
Like, life is short, and I'm trying every day to bring more ease and joy into it. And I feel like when I get into that other side, that lower self, that ego, and when I'm hanging with the devil, that's when I'm bringing out, you know, the gossip and everything else. And I ain't trying to be about that.
And you know how hard that is for people to not have frivolous conversations, to not gossip, to not, just to not do anything, that we used to do. It's like work.
It is.
Because it's so easy to fall into just little small mindless things. And every time it happens with me, because I am not perfect, every time it happens though, my heart is pricked immediately, like, you need to shift this. You need to shift this, or don't reply, or don't. So we were talking about a person going dead on a text. I am that person now that will go silent on a text when they're trying to, I'm not getting into that. I'm not getting into that. I'm not.
I have no problem with going dead on the text, and then I will text you back about something totally different. I do not care.
Yes. I'm like, woo, child. My life is just so different now, for the better. It's better for my children with me making the changes that I make. And I could sit now, because sometimes I was recently in a group, and people were talking about their churches and different things, and I could sit now and I don't even have to engage in the conversation. Some people always try to explain why they don't do something, I find like a lot of people very aggressive when it comes to something they're, I guess, passionate about.
That's me.
Yeah.
Because I get very aggressive when I'm already got a passive aggressive personality anyway. But
that's the word. The person is passive aggressive.
Oh yeah, I have a passive aggressive personality.
Really?
Yeah. I know that about me.
From you.
Because you're my friend.
But that person who I said is right is very passive aggressive. And that's why my spirit be so uneasy. But no, I never got passive aggressive from you.
Yeah, I got that in me, sis, like, for real. And I know that about myself. But when I'm really passionate about something, I feel like if I'm silent, I'm doing a disservice.
You feel like you got defended?
especially if you talking about my God. I do. I feel like I cannot be quiet. I get mad and angry, and I be wanting to, you know how you talked last week about him flipping the tables over? I be wanting to flip the table over. Yeah, I have a problem with being quiet. And sometimes I have been quiet, but it eats at my soul. Like I have thought about
and when
situations
you say
later, like
aggressive,
I should have said something.
so what's an example of somebody saying something that can make you mad about, or not mad, or aggressive? And
I use aggressive loosely. And I say that because you know how we talked about how I can get in the lawyer mode where I'm going to always have something.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like that, where I'm just going to say something like, if you come for me about the spirituality and say it's demonic, for instance, I write those prayers every day and I put those prayers on Facebook. But on my Instagram, I post the oracle card on what originated that prayer.
Yeah, yeah.
So if someone wanted to come for me about, you know, it's demonic and it's this and that, I am going to get pissed off and I am going to feel like I have to defend myself versus me just sitting back and not saying anything. Like if it's a conversation at the table, you know, I couldn't see me just eating my food while they're talking about
Gotcha.
oracle reader. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's not me directly, because everybody don't know that I do it, you know, but it's just like, oh, I'm getting that. Oh, I love the prayers and, you know, the amens and stuff. And it's probably still from some people who think that that's a witchcraft type thing, but yet you're praying with me because it's not witchcraft. Everything has to do with the intentions. So I feel like because that part of me, I feel so strong. And I know that that's how God communicates to me that I cannot be quiet. I can't.
Yeah, I see that.
So
and I see both on both social media. So I know the prayer, I know what it comes from, but I guess aggressive. I'm not aggressive when it comes to that or anything that I do or that I believe, because I just now, maybe from me being the church girl, I know some people thoughts and ways, and I know that.
And maybe for me feeling like I never had anybody to defend me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like we have to advocate for our beliefs. So I feel like when I'm silent, like how Tanya said, silence is agreement.
Yeah.
Like if I'm silent, then I'm agreeing. So it doesn't mean that I have to be combative. I can be. That's what I'm saying. I most definitely know I got that in me, but I cannot sit and just be like.
Yeah, I think that I'm not as aggressive. I'm more aggressive now with my evolution of myself. You know what I'm saying? And my aggressiveness now is with myself, becoming not having to agree with other people and know God for me. You know what I'm saying? What He's telling me to do. I think that's where my aggressiveness come in, because it's like, I can't believe you this. I can't believe
covering your mic. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I can't believe you. You know, I can't believe it. I can't believe you don't. I can't believe you don't. You know.
And my thing is, I want, and I guess this is why I'm not in certain places and why God keeps me aligned and where I'm at, you know what I'm saying, as far as invites and stuff like that, because I feel like you can have these conversations and it doesn't have to be an argument, you know, because my truth is my truth and yours is yours. So it doesn't, who's to say whose truth is wrong? Because only God can judge us at the end of the day. So that's when it's just like, you know, I always struggle. And I said this before, like the three sides, whereas, you know, yours, theirs. But now I look at it like my truth is my truth, theirs is theirs. And then it's God's who's going to judge the both of us. But I definitely feel like I never want to be in an environment where I don't know if the word is uncomfortable, or where I feel like I can't speak up on how I feel about a certain situation.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like now at this point in my life, I need to always speak up.
Mm-hmm.
Because I worked so long to have a voice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because in relationships, I didn't have a voice, you know.
Same.
So I worked a long time to have a voice. And when it comes to God, I'm for sure going to use it. And like I said, I don't want to come across like I'm just like, oh, let's, you know, get in a boxing ring.
Mm-hmm.
But I am thankful to be in alignment with open-minded people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I texted my friend the other day, and I was in the middle of reading my Bible, and I was like, "Do you talk to God daily?" And he was like, "Absolutely." And he was thinking exactly what he typed next what I was thinking. He said, "But it's not actually like a prayer." Because I was thinking, do you pray? My next question was going to be, do you pray? You know, he was like, no. He said, it's like conversations throughout the day. And he said, because that's what he wants us to do. And then he quoted this song our church used to sing. I woke up this morning, my mind stayed on Jesus. I'm walking and talking with my mind stayed. And I was like, you're right. He was like, it's not like a formal, you know, because I know a lot of people who wake up, and me, I wake up and I may be silent, I may pray, I may read, or I just may be sitting there thinking about God, or like, okay, God, I'm listening. What do you want me to do? It don't have to be. I always was thinking like, if you don't do certain things, it's wrong, and I'm removing myself from that. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, because certain things I do. It's like when you're used to the routine and the religion, you when you learning how to have the relationship, it's like, okay, let me make sure, is this right or wrong? Is this what I just grew up believing, or is this what I now know he wants me to do? You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense.
Yeah, but is it a right or a wrong? Or is it just now that you're studying and you're learning your way? Because for me, I've always talked to God. I've never necessarily just like got down on my hands and knees and pray. I'm having conversations more than I talk to anybody. Like my conversations are just like if I was to text you something, that is me all day long. When I go to work, I'm about to be like, okay, so she said this, like I'm literally like, God is my BFF sitting there. Okay, people think I'm weird, but that's literally how I function. It's not always the formal, okay, Father God, thank you for waking me up this morning. And you know what I'm saying? Like the one thing that I have to be more intentional about though is repenting for my sins.
Oh, I do that daily.
That is something that I definitely have to be more intentional. Like I say that now, more intentional, because I'm so used to just being in conversation, you know, with the prayer, that sometimes I just forget, like, oh, okay, but I need to repent for my sins, because girl, you ain't perfect. Just because you talking to God all day don't mean what you talking about.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's my sister or somebody else. It might have been her who kind of, I don't use this all the time, but gave me like the outline of like a prayer or talking to God using acts, the adoration, confession, thanksgiving. What's the S? I don't know. I can't remember. But that kind of helps me remember to repent in the confession, because I daily, almost daily be repentant, because I have to, and not of something that happened that day. I think about something from my past.
And see, that's when I say that I will repent of my sins, but I'm getting in the habit of repenting for things that I didn't know was a sin.
Yeah. I do, and I do ask for
because
things I didn't know. Yeah,
that's where I'm being so intentional about, because like I said, I know I can be a jerk. I got it in me and I ask for that, but it'll be the things that I think is right that
yeah,
are not
right. So things that you know about, and things that you don't
don't
know.
know about.
And I say that, Lord, forgive me for the things that I know about and the things I don't know about. Please forgive me. But my mind will go back to something. I mean, should be 20 years ago, and I'll be like, oh Lord, I know that was wrong. Please forgive me. And it don't happen all the time, but I do be repentant of, of things that but again, things that I don't know about that,
I used to be like that though, but now now I'm really present day. I used to think about a lot of things in my past and what I said and all of that, but it's been a minute. Like I may have flashes or something, but it's been a minute since I've really been in that space. So most of my stuff really is like
present day.
Present.
Yeah, a lot of mine is past, stuff, because I feel like I lived a frivolous life. Not that I was like a buck wild party girl, but to go to church every Sunday, to go to Bible class, to be the church girl and not really care or think about God daily, that was frivolous.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I literally feel like I did not care. I acted like I didn't know him or know that he existed.
I see what you're saying.
So when I think about my past, I'd be like, oh, I just lived a frivolous, I don't care life. And I can go to church, sing in the choir, lead praise and worship. You know what I'm saying? And leave there and do whatever I wanted to do. Whether it was cuss, go, on with my man and do whatever, or, drink, get drunk, just
and see, I've always, even in those stages of my life, and I still cuss, not like I used to, but I'm still doing that.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've always had this relationship with God. I think when I think back, even in my teenage years, and I know it evolved more as I became a mother. So even when I was doing those things, like I don't really recall him not being my bestie. I think now it's gotten closer because I'm spending more time intentionally reading and I'm seeking him. Before he was always there and I was talking, but what's the word? Earnestly. Like now I'm about that
earnestly
life.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Where,
Absolutely.
because I'm trying to make sure I'm on the right path and he's guiding me, where before I was seeking him. No, I shouldn't say that. I was talking to him. I was seeking him when I was in trouble. I was talking to him all the time, but I was leading my own path.
Yeah, I was,
and I felt convicted then a lot of times,
Yeah, and I think that's probably why I'm so bothered by the church now, because, and not all churches, okay, but I'm bothered because.
You mean that as a whole more so?
I mean, as a whole, I'm bothered because I knew how frivolous I lived, and when I say frivolous, we know him, but we don't act like we know him. We know he exists, but we don't really act like we know he exists. We say we have a relationship with him, but we really have a religion with him. And it bothers me because my spirit, just like the person who I say is racist and my spirit be uneasy, my spirit is uneasy when I know how I desire to please him now. And I don't see that desire being lived out loud. I live it out loud. I speak about it every week. Daily, I'm talking about it. My children see it. This is something that I didn't see or experience, growing up. And we be believing this is what we have to do it this way. And I'm just now like, I'm going to do it the way God tell me to do it.
Yeah, I think now, before, like you said, with the religion, I think I think this is the one thing that we can agree on, because I know spirituality looks different for the both of us, but I feel like the one thing that we can agree on is that it's definitely making God the head of our life and
Yeah.
understanding how he is communicating and what he wants us to do individually.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I don't think he wants everybody to. Not once. I don't think he gonna expect us to do it the same.
Yes. Yes.
And what a lot of people think is you have to do it
Under
the
this one
same under
umbrella.
this one umbrella, and that's not true. And I've learned that from reading, because I be looking like I be reading, I be looking like this been here all this time, and why I ain't never know this? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is basically what he's saying. And I be looking like, how did I not experience this before? How did I not know? I knew the basics. We all know the basics. But
it's
what
in your spirit now. Like,
yes,
it's literally in your body.
It's literally
it's in your body.
Yes, and I'm at unease and unrest when I know other people was living frivolously like I used to, and they stand in the pulpit, they sing and work, they lead in worship, they're teaching classes, and this is not everybody. I'm not saying everybody. I'm just saying my spirit is at unrest when I know people like our guest Bertine, though, who is very faithful to her church, and I know she lives what she, you know what I'm saying? She lives it. She believes and trusts God and have faith, and she's the example of a person that's in the church that I can admire and be like, yes. She's not bothered probably if she sees somebody who living frivolously, and it bothers me still, so I got to get past that. And I was having a conversation with my friend, and we was talking about when we do go to church, like you can, take what you can learn and be like, yep, that's right, I got that. Yes, I love that. And when it's something that happened or said that you don't really agree with, you just let it go. I ain't really there yet.
Oh, I can see what you're saying now. And bringing up routine is a perfect example, especially since she even mentioned in that episode about the atheist. Like, she is,
a lot of people won't be that way. They won't welcome. But Jesus, this morning I was reading that he, sat with sinners. He, and the Pharisees and the religious lawmakers were like, how could you be with those, those tax collector people? How can you sit with those sinners? And he was like, the people who's healthy don't need the hospital.
And I think with me not having that structure of, going to church, I don't see that aspect.
Yeah.
So I, because I always think about being judged from the church people. Like, it was always like, well, what church you go to? Or you need to go to church. And it's just like, and again, I was in Bible class this week because there's this church that I love.
Yeah. You was listening to a Bible class?
Girl, yeah. He poured into me so good.
But again, people think that you can't be fed. They think you have to go in the building. Well, a lot of people want numbers. They want numbers in it, but they want a full building. I get it. You want people there. But I have been blessed. I listen to, like you listen to your favorite church. I listen to my message from my favorite person, whoever he may be. I don't know who he is, to give these messages every day. I listen to him when I'm driving my daughter to school, and then I'll just go back throughout the day, and to try and get off of scrolling, I'll just play while I'm doing stuff around the house. And I was wanting to send to you the other day because it was made me think about you. I'm gonna still send it, but I be blessed by these messages and these sermons that I hear, and I be like, oh, and it be so clear and precise to me what he's preaching like this, because he every message is like, this is how God wants you to live. so clear. This is what you do when somebody do you wrong. This is what you do when you feel like this. This is what you do when it's me like just full direction on. That's what I need for myself right now. I don't need the and I don't want to say theatrics because everybody not theatrical. Some people just excited. I need a clear, concise message where you telling me how God wants me to live. I don't want to hear um the hype, you know,
we
topics.
coming on a close.
Yeah.
I feel the same way, and I didn't say it that because it's just like I just want to go for the sermon and be gone. I don't want other that. But I think the problem is, like we said with the umbrella, that it doesn't necessarily, we don't all have to go under, we don't even learn and think the same. So I feel like when it comes to your spiritual relationship with God, you have to go with what works for you. Because for years I listened to Joel Osteen. I would be at work at my desk, and for the whole 8 hours, I would listen to him.
I didn't know that.
And for Joyce Myers, years. That's how I would get through at work. Whereas now, I'm not drawn to listen to him anymore. But the people who are, I get it, because that once upon a time was me. But that's not where I'm at. I feel like he's a motivational speaker and throws in the Bible verses. And that works because that motivated me in what I needed, and it got me closer. Whereas now I'm more like you, where I'm just more into reading my word, but the way Spirit talks to me is through different ways. I could watch a TV show that ain't religious and make it and get that message into a message. So it's just I've evolved in different ways. But I think what I'm trying to say, and I don't know if I done talked in circles, is we just need to figure out what works for us, and that brings us closer to God. It's not demonic because I don't do it the way you do it.
Yeah.
If I'm still living Christ-like, that's the bottom line.
That part, like, we are not gonna be the same. We are not gonna, and I don't know how we got from Mean Girl to this, but we always gonna come back to God. Literally every episode, we're going to come back to God and how He entails, how He's in all of this. We always gonna come back to Him. So yeah, friend, I enjoyed this conversation.
Me too, girl. Even with our interruption.
Listen,
I'm gonna bury it.
Let it go. Let it go. It's not. It's the message still got across.
Yeah,
the message still happened. And he and now, like I said, he allows interruptions sometimes for a reason. We don't know why, but hey, we want y'all to like, listen, subscribe, share, comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you believe.
Yes. What's part of your routine? What do you do?
Yeah, what's your routine? What do you do?
To nurture your relationship with God?
Yeah, and if you don't know God, if you don't have a relationship, if you're not even a believer, then we invite you to,
share with me how you get through the day.
Yeah, because
my faith helps me. So I'll be wondering about the people who don't believe. Like, what do you hold on to? Yourself?
Yeah, because the believer I know told me that they get through by themselves, and I was just like, whoa. So let us know. Let us know what you think. Share, subscribe, like, and we'll see y'all next week.